Hey guys, I'm Tyler. I go by Stealthy Ninja on the internet, and welcome back to my channel. Today, basically, I want to talk about, well, as you've already seen it in the title, I want to talk about my favorite thing. Just favorite, favorite thing. Star Wars. So for me, Star Wars is unique. It's very encompassing and very critical to my life, just in both terms of entertainment and creativity, and just, I don't know, as a general expression of, like how I was, not how I was raised, but I grew up with Star Wars, and it was a big impact in my life, still is. And I love pretty much everything about Star Wars. My parents introduced me to the original trilogy back when I was a tiny little kid. I'm like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. Then the prequels came out, and I was overly excited. Then I started to get heavily into video games. So I started playing more Star Wars games. Once I grew up a little bit, I started getting really heavy into Star Wars books, and this, that, and the other. Just kept watching more and more movies, absorbed more media, watched plenty of content on YouTube about it. I love Star Wars, man. Like, it's like one of those things that I can count on that I will always enjoy. It's just going to be part of my life. And it's basically, like, I saw, like, when I was kind of like just looking at some stuff real quick for this video, I saw a quote that says, Star Wars will just outlive all of us. It's just that big of a universe. And I agree. Like, that's been my point about Star Wars basically since I started. Like, this universe of Star Wars is so massive. And the reason I wanted to make a video on it is because I had a talk with my little brother only a couple days ago, and we're just shooting the shit, talking about a lot of stuff. But one thing that we came up, just started talking about is like, just because Mandalorian season 2 is coming out soon, just started talking about Star Wars stuff, and just like, just just basically just going back and forth, like, oh my god, I love Star Wars, blah, 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 blah. But like one big thing that we were talking about is like the barrage of criticism that the latest sequels movies have gotten. It's just astounding to me. Like, okay, I'll say this now. I love the sequels. I think they're great movies. I think they're great additions to the Star Wars universe. But obviously, it being a Star Wars movie, it has its flaws. Like, things don't make sense, or there's not ad-libbing, retconning. There's all kinds of like elements of the story that like either don't mesh well, or like things don't make sense because they weren't previously explained, or this. Just examples. I get it. I can see the gripes, but honestly, for me, I don't care. Let me explain why. So a lot of things I see that people have been angry about, and I'm going to say angry because like I've seen criticism about things before that I personally enjoy, and I can just brush it off. Criticism is criticism. Nobody has to enjoy things that I do the way I do. You're your own person. Do your own thing. However, the Star Wars sequels, sequels, terminology. The Star Wars sequel trilogy, with Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. It's just, they got so much hate that I don't know. There's just this whole ripple in like the Star Wars fan base that's just. It hurts because like it's not just criticism anymore. It's like true bona fide anger. Like I can't get away from it. There was a point about a year ago where I just dropped the Star Wars community entirely because I was so sick of just hearing constantly about like new movies bad, old movies good, and that was it. That wasn't there was no point to arguing anymore because that's all they cared about is just drilling that point again. New movies are bad. La 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 la. It's just it's frustrating because they, just like I said before, yes, they're flawed, but like the entire Star Wars universe is flawed, and it just, for me, it makes no sense. Sorry, I'm like adjusting my camera angles. This is not fun for me either. For me, it makes no sense because like we're not I don't know. This is gonna sound silly, and this is like a stupid justification, but for me, like Star Wars is just a creative universe in and of itself, and like I don't go to a Star Wars movie theater release and expecting like this super high class, like Emmy award winning, ultra great, amazing movie through and through. I'm expecting a Star Wars movie. Yeah, it's corny, it's quirky, it's got its weird humor, it's got its mystical, magical elements about it, it's got its weird story elements that don't make sense or don't tie up sometimes. But overall, it's a great experience because like there's not many things that make me feel like a child when I consume the media or get part of the universe than Star Wars. Star Wars is seriously like such a unique thing for me, and it hurts me to like see people my age or my group of, I don't want to say mentality, but like my group of fans that like grew up with the prequels and grew up like having their parents show them the originals and this, that, and the other. It hurts me to see those kinds of people just flat out angry, just like hateful and spiteful. Like, wow, guys, like what? Like, I don't know. It's Star Wars to me is amazing. Because, and this is something the reason I want to make a video about this, I've already said that. The reason I want to make a video about this is that when I was talking with my little brother, I brought up a point that I keep making, is that Star Wars has become so much bigger than just George Lucas or Lucasfilm Corporated or whatever. Star Wars has become just bigger than anything, even bigger than Disney. Yeah, like you physically cannot contain Star Wars to one trilogy or one idea, one story, one game, one comic. You can't, because it's so massive. You can do so much with it. And that's why I like it. And I just, okay, let me just kind of like break down what I consume in the Star Wars media kind of stuff. I love every single movie. My favorite, honestly, is Rogue One. It's not, I would say it's probably not the most strongest movie, but like I actually really love that movie. I would gladly watch that, like unironically, just out of nowhere, sit down and just keep watching it like over and over again. I love that movie. But not only just the movies, like kind of like I just recap real quick. I grew up with Star Wars video games. Knights of the Old Republic and 1 and 2 are legitimately my favorite games of all time, and that was like the setting for me to become a RPG gamer and be really heavily into role-playing games as a genre. And that led me into things like Fallout, Skyrim, Witcher, Pillars of Eternity. This just the whole genre in itself of role-playing, it's just, that turned me on. And it was a Star Wars game, and that made me so happy that like I could enjoy the two things I love most in life. That's kind of corny to say, but like Star Wars in video games, that's awesome. I love it. And then like seeing more and more games come out about it. Like I know EA is kind of that's kind of a weird story, but like, you know, Jedi Fallen Order and that kind of stuff. And then now we have like a new Squadrons game coming out, which looks awesome too. Just gets me excited because I love Star Wars. And then like in the past, I'd say since high school, I started picking up reading more as a hobby, and I really, really love Star Wars books. I just love consuming more and more media. And if I was a comic book reader, I would absolutely get into Star Wars comics because those things look so cool. Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is that for the critics out there, I don't want to say haters because that's such a stupid term, but like the people that are just angry about the new Star Wars content, what? I don't understand that feeling of spitefulness that you have. I seriously don't. Because, like, okay, you don't like the new movies. That's fine. Like, you don't have to. Because there's so much more to Star Wars than just 3 movies. Sure, they're the big blockbusters or whatever that everyone pays attention to. But, like, my dude, there is a lot more to Star Wars than just sitting down in a theater for 90 minutes at a time. Like, I'm not telling you how to be a fan. I'm just telling you, you don't have to be a fan of everything that Star Wars is, because there's so much to it. I mean, we all absolutely loved the animated series Clone Wars, and then it got wrapped up in its season 7. The first half of it was kind of, nah, we all kind of agree, but it was really good to see it again. And then the last 4 or 5 episodes, whatever it was super solid. And the nostalgia and the feelings really hit us all there, and we all loved it. So, like, you don't have to love everything about something. You don't have to be a fan. That's fine. Because then you're just being a blind fan, and that's really weird. Just, yeah, never do that for anything. What I am saying is that this whole hatefulness and just utter rage about the new Star Wars content is so just I don't even know what word to use, but like deconstructive, almost toxic in a way to what the Star Wars community really is. It's an accepting and creative community of amazing people from all over the world, and we don't have to like the same things in Star Wars, but we love Star Wars. And that's something that's incredible for me. And the thing for me, I have that unique perspective of like, I have consumed a lot of media for Star Wars between growing up with it, the movies and video games and toys, and then finally growing up with like additional content like books and more content online. As you can see, my shelves are currently filled with Star Wars. Yep, down there. My background Star Wars, like I love this stuff. I can't get enough of it. But like, I don't get it. And then the whole argument about canon versus non-canon or retconning or this, that, and the other. Guys, I honestly do not know why people care that much. Let me just hang on. So, yes, I understand that you want to establish lore and things should matter in a linear fashion for something that you care about. That's fine. But like, Star Wars hasn't really ever done that. Like, George Lucas himself is just a creative monster that like changes it up on the fly and goes back 10 years and recorrects himself. I mean, everybody hates the things he did to the remasters, where like the whole Han Solo shot first controversy and like all this other animated CGI weird crap that he put in the prequels and the original trilogy. It weird. Just not the greatest decision by him. Not the most popular thing that he's done. But for whatever reason, the internet tolerates that more than the new content coming out because it's not canonical or it's not George Lucas approved or whatever. My unique perspective is that I've consumed so much media. I know I'm in the I know that like I'm sounding kind of privileged or elitist or whatever. I know that. But what I'm trying to say is that I have absorbed a lot of Star Wars media over like the entirety of my life. And anything works. Like seriously, like any story or story element for Star Wars can work. Like one of my favorite books that I've read about Star Wars has nothing to do with the Force, and it's just this like whole like horror setup where it's like it's an old trope of like, you know, like the classic stories where we you've got like Wolfenstein and all those other video games or comics or books that would make tropes about the Nazis delving into evil research and, experimenting on people, this, that, and the other. Basically, someone took that idea and plugged it into like the Star Wars universe, and then just made the Empire this like Nazi-ish, like evil researching craziness, and it ends up having like zombies and like this whole horror aspect. It's such a good book. It's called what's it called? It's called Death Troopers. My God, that's such a because no one would ever expect a Star Wars story to be a horror flick. Just this weird trope of like inserting Nazism and this weird, creepy, like just torturing and testing on human subjects. And that's a Star Wars story. It's not canon, whatever. But like, that's what I love. Like, you can make anything for Star Wars and it just fits. So for me, the whole canon versus non-canon thing is just weird. I don't have an official thing for Star Wars, like, I guess timeline, whatever. If there is one, cool. I will like it. If there's non-canon elements to the shows, the movies, the books, whatever, I just enjoy it. I wish more people had that perspective where they just enjoyed Star Wars. Yes, I mean, I know you can criticize Disney. I'm not saying you can't criticize something. You don't have to be, like I said, you don't have to be a blind fan, but have your criticisms, still enjoy the content. Don't be a dick. Like, I don't think it's that hard to not bully the actors of the new trilogy off of social media, which we've seen twice with, I think Daisy Ridley just completely avoids social media, but like, what was her name? Daisy Marie Tran, the girl who played Rose in the second and third movie. People just destroyed her, and she had to leave social media completely because people would not stop hurting her, just voraciously tweeting at her, Instagram DMs, all this, that, and the other. She couldn't get away from it, and it was something she was so proud of. And to see her career be just upended by people on the internet that just can't, that just don't know when to stop. Like, I don't know. It's such a weird mentality. I don't get it. I never will. Because I love Star Wars. Even if it's bad, that's fine. Bad content everywhere. Nothing is perfect. I'll just enjoy it. Because, God damn it, we don't really have that long on this earth, and I'd rather just enjoy the time that I have. I know it's a pretty shit argument for trying to defend some really weird decisions. But honestly, I wish more people had I don't say patience. That's a weird word. I wish more people would be just less hateful and spiteful towards the new content for Star Wars, because like there's so much coming out that's going to be awesome. I mean, hell, Mandalorian season 2 is coming out. We have an Obi-Wan show in the works with Ewan McGregor. That's amazing, having him just replay his character. We have 3 new Star Wars movies coming out. I think it's like 2 or 3 years or something like that. That's not really like an official like episode 10. It's just gonna be like Rogue One and Solo type of movies. That's gonna be amazing, because like I'm so happy and stoked to see like what they actually will do with going away from the main story. It's gonna be good, because like at the end of the day, it's just more Star Wars. Like, man. And the best feeling in the world for me is I should say the best feeling in the world when I went to go see these new Star Wars movies the past few years is I remember the distinct feeling of watching the prequels in movie theaters. My little brother doesn't remember because he was too young, but I remember the feeling of watching episode 1, 2, and 3, watching the clones come out of nowhere, watching Anakin and Obi-Wan duel on Mustafar in the lava. And it's just, my God, as like a young kid who just got introduced to the greatest universe ever because his parents loved Star Wars as a kid and then had to show their kids how much they love Star Wars. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, by the way, there's new movies. We're all excited. I went to go see it as a kid and I was overly excited. I got instantly hooked on the prequels and more Star Wars. But I saw young kids and young boys and girls, the exact same emotions and exact same like excitement that I had back when I was a young little lad. But that was probably the coolest feeling ever, because that means there's a whole new generation of people that will love Star Wars even more, and then that's more people to join in this wonderful fan base that we have. Yeah, there's a minority of fans that just don't know when to shut up, but honestly, just enjoy Star Wars. I love it. I hope people just love it regardless of what it is or what they're watching or what they're playing. It's just, Star Wars is going to be so amazing, and I can't wait for more content about it. It's just, this has been mind-boggling me for the past few years, and I figured since I'm doing more videos, just throw my thoughts out there. So that's pretty much it. Love what you love. Don't change. Don't let me don't let me dictate what you can and can't do. I'm just telling you to ease off the hate. That's all. Anyways, I'm Tyler. I go by Stealthy Ninja Internet. Catch you guys later.